It's time. It's time for Season 5. Pirattata fans, teammates, it's time to do what we've said we're going to do. We're going to go from worst to first. Now, how are we going to do that, you say? Well, we've assembled a really good team this season. Our draft is by far, hands down, better. I mean, we've got things that just can't be overlooked on the team. We've got things like Blister and that mold breaker and sand rush ability. We've got Spinal Tap over here, Mega T-Tar. There's nobody who's going to be thinking, well, that was the dumbest Mega drafted at the end of the season. Today, you are going to make a statement, and you are going to say, we are here, and there's nothing that's going to stop us from climbing to the top. Now, we've got guys in the middle too. We've got our support. We've got things like Epoch, Celebi. You're here to be the glue of this team. Pork Chop, Arcanine. You are here to be that unknown variable that is going to springboard this team to success. Handsome, Ambipom, you know what you're here for. And you got that trick in your back pocket, up the sleeve on your tail. Oh yeah, you're bringing it this week. Uzair, Thunderous, you got that prankster T-Wave, which I think is gonna pull through in a pinch this week. Alright guys, I look around and I see nothing but winners here today. And that's what we're going to end this week as winners. We're going to start Season 5 and end Week 1 with the same amount of wins as we had total in Season 4. Let's go out there and let's get them, Pirattatas. Let's go. Okay guys, we're going to jump right into the match here, and I want to thank, before I get into it, Mr. Murkrow for recording the battle for me this week. Thank you very much, sir. In your debt. So let's look at these teams. So, I mean, we have the team we went over in the team builder, and he's bringing Escavalier, which I'm really worried about because that thing hits like a truck. Zoroark, which is always Trixie. He's obviously brought Thundurus because he needs it. Tentacruel, Mega Alakazam, and Gliscor. Now, once we break this Gliscor, like we said in the team builder, Excadrill pretty much cleans up the majority of his team. But we're going to be playing Gubstastic in the Arizona Deoxys, so yeah. We're going to lead off exactly how we wanted it to go, and it goes perfectly turn 1. Goes for that Protect. We're going to bait with the Fake Out to make him think we are physical. Now, I really thought about this a long time before I just dropped the Hidden Power. It's like, he might switch out predicting shenanigans, but he doesn't, and it almost one-shots him. And I was just like, oh, that was so good. And he goes for the counter. And I was like, oh, that is tricky, tricky, tricky. Now, I had to stay in here and just continue to go for, well, I didn't have to, but I decided to stay in here and just keep spamming the hidden powers. Because, I mean, he's either going to bring in Tentacruel or Escavalier, and nothing I really have is going to hit them that much harder that I'm going to be worried about it in the overall scheme of things, considering I outspeed both of them. So he brings in Tentacruel here after getting that Toxic Orb recovery from that Protect to see what I was going to do, doing a little bit of scouting there. And we see the Black Sludge here. So we know this isn't Zoroark, because I was worried every single time he switched we were going to see Zoroark. And I bring in Celebi as a status absorber, and I really thought the Scald was coming of all things, because Scald does work on my team. And I'm just like, okay, bring in Epoch. We're going to set up the rocks. I mean, he wasn't going to go for Sludge Bomb in that particular situation, because I bring in Spinal Tap and it does negligible damage. I bring in Blister and it does even less damage because it's immune. So I set up the rocks as he goes for a Hex, and I love Hex. If you can pull off a successful Hex, you are all aces in my book. Which, I mean, Gubs was to begin with, but I set up the rocks. He rapid spins them away, which, I mean, no big deal. The only thing that really hurts on his team is Thunderous. And we have some tricks up our sleeve for that. And I'm just going to baton pass out here because I didn't want him to double toxic and hit something coming in. And I was able to get in Thunderous for free. So I'm like, I want to set up a nasty plot. I want him to think that I'm a sweeper. So maybe he will believe that I don't have T-Wave. And I don't know whether or not that worked. I go for the Thunderbolt because even if he switches in Thunderous, unless it's Scarfed with a nasty plot, I'm going to one-shot it with Hidden Power Ice. So, wham bam, thank you, man, I'm not even worried about that. And it proves to be a 2-shot Onyx Cavalier. And thank God that thing was out of the way. That thing had me throwing fits when we were battling. Now, he's going to bring out Alakazam here. And I'm just thinking, what? And does he really not think that I have the T-Wave? Did I pull that bluff off? Or does he just think that I won't do it because Thunderous is sitting in the back waiting to come in with the Volt Absorb? Now he protects here, and I'm just like, crap. And I go for the T-Wave, and I show him I have it. And I'm just like, I have to stay in and go for it again. Like I said, even if he goes with Volt Absorb, I can outspeed non-scarfed Who's-a-What's-It and take it out with Hidden Power Ice. But he stays in, and I get to paralyze this thing. I'm like, that was the only thing on his team I couldn't outspeed with my guys. And it's paralyzed. And I can't see a way for him to heal it off of himself. And I was just like... So, he protects. I go for knockoff because I knew he was going to protect, so I didn't want to go for fake out. And, yeah. So I knock off. It's super effective damage. And that was really nice. He's going to Psychic here, but Ambipom has really done everything that it could do. So Ambipom goes down to Mega Alakazam. And Mega Alakazam's just like, why didn't you ever use me this good, Tup? Why? And I'm just like, dude, you aren't even using subs. Get out of my face. So I'm going to Mega up here. Going to get Spinal Tap on the field. And he's going to beat his chest and be a beast. And I'm just like, what's he going to do? I can't. I really contemplated Dragon Dancing at that point. But if I did, and he went for a Focus Blast and just killed me, it would be pretty much GG at that point. So I go for the Stone Edge because it was going to hit anything, even the Gliscor at the range it was, would probably die with full investment at that point. And he's going to bring in Tentacruel here, and he goes for the Low Kick, and I'm like, Low Kick? And I see he doesn't get Recovery on the Sandstorm, and I'm just like, this is Zoroark. And I was just like, well, I really didn't have anything I wanted to switch in right now because I didn't know if he was mixed, if he was fully physical. Because, and Low Kick destroys my team at this point. So I was like, I have to stay in and then get something in faster than it. I knew I still have a few turn of Sandstorm left, so I let Epoch go down, and I bring in Excadrill, and I know an Iron Head is going to hit anything coming in really hard, and the next turn I could probably take it out. So he brings in Gliscor, and at that range, Adamant, Life Orb, Iron Head finishes the deal, and Gliscor, the only thing really standing in the way of my Sand Rush sweep at this point, is gone. Now he brings us back out, and it is a Zoroark, goes for the Sucker Punch. There was no reason why he would have actually brought Tentacruel out at that point, because I outsped it. He showed that he wasn't Scarfed. And Earthquake takes it out. He gets a Sucker Punch off, and that does a lot of damage, and from the looks of it, I have at least 2 more hits. So, Sandstorm subsides. He brings Tentacruel back out, which I'm sure is Ev to be able to outspeed Jolly Max Speed Excadrill without Sand. So, I switch out, I go into Spinal Tap. Because I don't think anything that he has shown thus far is really going to hurt me very much. And even if he gets a burn on the Scald, I can set up Dragon Dances in this thing's face and just win the game at that point. So, he's going to Scald me, and I'm just like, okay. Do we want to be cheeky and start setting up Dragon Dances that did enough to where if he gets the burn, I really think that's not worth it in the long run? So I just start going for Stone Edges. And he gets the burn the second turn, which I'm perfectly okay with, because these Stone Edges are still going to do so much because I crit. And I'm just like, that may have mattered in the long term of things, but we're going to keep fighting. We're burnt. These Stone Edges, we might miss one, which might make up for that. I don't know what's going to... He goes for Hex here, and I'm like... That was a crit, not that it mattered, because it still did negligible damage because special defense is through the roof in a sandstorm. Hit my second Stone Edge, and that takes it out. I live with just enough that I don't die to burn damage, and I want to say the reason he went for Hex there is because he's stalling out turns of the sand, I think. And we're going to bring out Pork Chop here to get the Intimidate off, and Thunderous is going to be intimidated, and he goes for the U-turn here. I'm like, safe play is safe, but, I mean, at that point, I would have died regardless. And, I mean, that's doesn't tip the hat as to what the rest of his set is. But, I mean, because Pork Chop has Intimidate, and Gator was barking because Pork Chop came out, his favorite Pokemon, and we have Extreme Speed on this. I believe I said it in the team builder, that Arcanine was going to be my ace in the hole with Extreme Speed to clean up the end of the match, and guess what happened? We got a crit on the first Extreme Speed, I think. The first horse, we critted one of the Extreme Speeds. So we're up 2 crits to a worthless Hacks crit, which, I mean, ultimately probably didn't matter in the grand scheme, because after the damage we were doing with the Extreme Speeds, we bring in Spinal Tap, get the Sandstorm back up, and Iron Head finishes it pretty much regardless. So, I mean, ultimately that crit, in my opinion, in my humble opinion, mattered only in the differential. And we beat Gubstastic 3-0. I was in shock after this battle. I could not believe that I beat Gubstastic 3-0 because I either underestimated myself, because I hold Gubs in very high esteem because he's a fantastic battler. I battled him before, and he's always on point. And the fact that I beat him my first week, huge confidence boost. So this is for all the little guys out there. Never underestimate yourself. Ever. And speaking of little guys, we're going to talk about the Pittsburgh Pirattata Fan of the Week. And that is going to be Eric Sergus. I hope I said that right. And his picture will be inserted here somewhere. Woo! So thank you, Eric, who bought a Pittsburgh Pirattata shirt and mug before the season even started. So you are awesome fan of the week. But alright guys, this has been Oldmantup. Want to just thank again Mr. Murkrow for recording my battle for me. And I would like to thank the Uzi Gunner who helped me with my team building this week. You're fantastic and I love you. Alright guys, this has been Oldmantup with Week 1, Win 1 of our quest for hashtag worst to first. Catch you on the flip side, guys. Peace.